Jesus is his name, and I'm all about him. I live to bring him praise. He is the way and the truth and the life. God is 3 in 1, reigning undefeated. Our God is overcome. Jesus, Jesus.
What's up, God Gold family? I hope you're having an awesome day. Got another golden nugget for you today as we've been going through this series of praising through the virus. And we talked a little bit the other day about the process, as David mentioned, that he was tried as silver is tried. And when silver is tried, when silver's created, it goes through this process of being burnt down to nothing and created into a beautiful masterpiece of silver. And we talked about the donut, which it goes through all the ingredients and all the bacon. We saw how God was the baker and the chef of our lives as he creates these beautiful masterpieces out of what looks like a mess and a bunch of wild ingredients. It comes together to make something beautiful and delicious. And it was so good. I'm telling you guys, I'm sorry for making you jealous today, or getting your sweet tooth kicked up. But it was so good. Shout out to my wife, Sarah, for that one. But it was so cool to keep looking into the process and just what it looks like in my own life and yours, to embrace the process of what God has taken us through right now. That the truth is, we're going through some tough times, but we're trying to answer the question, how do I keep praising God through the tough times I'm facing right now? How do I keep praising God even though that I'm going through some things that are really tough and really hard? So the first thing I noticed, we want to embrace the process. We want to embrace the abundance. We want to look to the abundance that God is bringing into our lives as he's growing us through this process. And in verse 12, as it took us through verses 10 through 12, David's talking about all these ways that he's being tried as silver's tried. He's being tested by God. He's having crushing burdens laid on his back, men riding over his head, went through fire, went through water. And after all that, despite all that, it says, yet, despite all those things, you have brought us into a place of abundance. And that's what God is taking us through right now in our lives. And what's so cool is, as we saw with the deck, that God, when he brings us into his new and his abundance, that the old has to go away. There's just no second thoughts, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The old has to go away. And what's cool about that is God, as the chef, is already cooking that up all around us. Look around in your life today, and God has already taken all these things that we used to put our trust in, that we used to lean on, like sports and entertainment and being able to go places and do things. He's taken that away and making room for us to come closer to him in this time and to get to embrace his abundance. So God is already working these things together. And why is God doing that? So we can go through this process of pain, because I know right now you're feeling it, I'm feeling it. There's a lot of pain that's going through this time with the coronavirus, financial burdens, so many different things going through this time brings us pain. But what's cool to see is that pain brings change. Pain brings change. And what we want to look at is, how do we praise God through the pain? How do we praise God through the tough times? What does that change? What does that do? Praising God through the pain, it changes our focus and perspective. Instead of saying, oh man, I wish sports were back on, I got nothing to do, I got to be stuck at home with my kids all day, they're driving me crazy, I ain't got no money to go out and do anything, I can't go out and do anything, I'm quarantined. All these different these complaints and whining that we go through, which I do too, so I'm calling myself out too. But all the negative attitude we have with that, what changes when you start praising God through the pain and through the tough times? Your perspective starts to change from pain to gain. You don't see it as just pain anymore, and you don't just see it as you feel it, but it changes from pain to gain. Instead of whining, complaining about what you see and what you feel, praising God opens you up to see what God is doing in this time. It opens you up to see more than what's right in front of you and what God is doing. It's not pain, but God is changing you and growing you during this time. It's gain. God is adding things to your life. Adding things like getting to walk in his abundance. Praise helps you see, and when you praise God through these times, I want you guys to see this. Praise helps you see the abundance of, when you praise and praise God, it helps you see the abundance of what you have with God not the deficit of what you have with you. Praise helps you see the abundance of what you have with God, not the deficit of what you have with you. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm in a big deficit with just me. But with God, that abundance is clear and as clear as day. So pain turns to gain. And how does that apply to our daily lives? When you go through crushing burdens or face trials, like David's example here in Psalm 66, which I encourage you to go check out because it is some powerful, powerful truth. David's example is he's going through these hard things that are really, really tough in his life. But how does he react to it? How does he handle it? He praises God through it. I can't say that enough. He praises God through those moments in his life. And I'll be honest, I can sit here all day and say we need to praise God even in the tough times of our life. But I understand that we may not feel like it. I understand that we may not see any reason to. I get that because I struggle with that myself. But I encourage you, like I've seen in my life, when I do praise God through those moments, it changes everything, man. I'm telling you guys, praising God in the tough times of our lives opens us up to see, wow, there's a purpose in the pain. It ain't just pain, it's gain. There's things God's doing through these situations, even though they're breaking me down. God is teaching me new things, drawing me closer to Him, rebuilding me, remaking me, reshaping me, changing every area of my life. So instead of living at a deficit with a deficit attitude of whining and complaining, praise God today. I encourage you to praise God today, no matter how you feel, no matter how bad you don't want to do it. Praise God anyways. And that's when you step into God's abundance on levels you've never imagined before. I promise you that. That's when everything in your perspective, everything in your mind and your heart starts to shift, and everything you see is through God's eyes. So instead of pain, it's gain, baby. So you embrace that pain. You embrace this process of pain that we're walking through, because you know at the end of the road, there's going to be abundance, God's abundance there. And I'm not just talking about material blessings or anything like that. I'm talking about God's abundance of living life with Him and being satisfied with Him alone and who He is, and being filled in ways that only God can fill us. That is abundance right there. Having peace that only God can bring into our lives. That is abundance. So when you face something tough today or tomorrow, just know that the pain you're going through today is bringing you gain tomorrow. So just rest in that perspective. And how do you apply it to your lives? Praise God. But this situation is really hard and really tough. It really hurts. Praise God. When this job doesn't want me to work here anymore, I don't have any money to feed my family. Praise God. When the coronavirus has attacked my neighbors and everyone around me and things look really, really bad, praise God anyways. And I can sit here and say that all day because I don't know exactly what you're going through. But I'm trying to encourage you, because I don't want to sit here and just say it. I want to encourage you, even though you may be going through something difficult. The only way I've ever seen to get through my own struggles and my own battles that I go through is praising God. And I'm learning that each and every day. So I just ask you, pray for me during this time to praise God. And I'm praying for you that we praise God and that we walk in His abundance, not just during this time of pain, but how God creates us new. And God creates us in new ways to work for His kingdom as this time ends, that there will be a revival and awakening as all these people have embraced this process of pain and embraced it, knowing that there's gain as God is growing them closer to Him during this time, that afterwards, after all this mess is over, that His church and His people are going to be praising at a level that no one has ever seen before. The angels in heaven is going to be hearing us praise down here on earth, because it's going to be so wild. So I am sorry for getting fired up. That was supposed to be a short golden nugget, but I love you guys. I hope that was an encouragement to you. I hope that helped you in some way today. Praise God, baby. Woo!
Let me tell you about Him. Jesus is His name, and I'm all about Him. I live to bring Him praise. He is the way and the truth and the life. God is 3 in 1, reigning undefeated. Our God has overcome. Jesus.